It's like a road that you travel on, when there's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind.
There's a world outside every dark and door, where the blues won't haunt you anymore, where the brave are free and love is strong. Come ride with me to that distant shore.
We won't hesitate to break down that garden gate. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I want to drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around. I love you now like I loved you then. This is the road and these are the hymns.
From Mozambique to those Memphis nights, the Khyber Pass to Vancouver's lights. Knock me down, back up again. You're in my blood, I'm not a lonely man.
There's no load I can hold. The roads are rough, this I know. I'll be there when light comes in. Tell them we're survivors. Life is a highway. I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. There was a distance between you and a misunderstanding once, but now we look it in the eye. There's no load I can hold, the roads are rough, this I know. I'll be there when light comes in, tell them we're survivors. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, 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 yeah, it's a highway. I wanna drive it all night long. If you're going my way, I wanna drive it all night long. Gimme, 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 yeah.
All right, I do have some awards that I would like to give out, just recognizing the students on their hard work. They've just been so wonderful. As you can see, the group behind me is small but mighty. Don't they do a great job? So I'd like to recognize first, the people who were in our festival choir. And the other day, we went down to, it was called Johnsburg. It was right by Gurney, Illinois. And we sang in a festival. And so they sang two pieces, and they were adjudicated by two different people. And it was scored in 3 tiers. So good was a 10-point range, and excellent was a 10-point range, and superior was a 10-point range. And they did so well. They were just 2 points shy of that superior high rating. So they did wonderfully. So I'd like to recognize those people. Isabella, just raise your hand. Just raise your hand. So Isabella was in there. Michaela was with us. Joanna, Nadia, and Kaylee. Let's give them a round of applause. And beyond just singing in the festival, they spent every Thursday for the last couple months with me in my classroom after school. So they really put in the work to deserve such a great score. Next, I have a leadership award. And leadership is one of those things that it's hard to teach, right? It's hard to teach leadership. So these are students who really put themselves out there. They're pretty much on task all the time. They're just really willing to sing out, be a leader, not only in their singing, but just keeping us all on task and just really being there for the group. So first, I would like to give this award to Calvin Mazer. Calvin's one of our 8th grade this year, moving up to the high school. Thank you, Calvin. And for the same reasons, this 7th grader just really shows a lot of initiative and keeps us on task, and it really just sings out really, really well, leads their section. So Eliza Skoletsky. So our next category is Outstanding Choir Member, and this is someone who shows a lot of potential. They do a lot of good things. They're kind to their peers. They perform well. They're nice and polite in rehearsals and ready to work and really put in the time. So in 8th grade, Miss Isabella Reinertson. And in our 7th grade, again for the same reason, they're just outstanding, they're positive, all those good attributes. Joanna Meyer. All right, I have 2 final awards, each meaning 2 totally different things. My Rising Star Award, it goes to someone who's really made a lot of progress. They work really hard. They might not be the rock star who wants the solo in the concert, but they're just a huge asset to the choir and show so much potential. So this year in 7th grade, I'd like to recognize Adric Gonzalez. And then last but certainly not least, this Director's Award means a lot to me. This is someone I can depend on. This is someone who's going to help others around them. This is someone who's going to try their best, really, again, kind of like the Leadership Award, lead their section, someone I can always count on in rehearsals. So this year, I'd like to give that award to Michaela Straddle. Our last piece is called Why We Sing, and it tells you why we do. But not only that, it's just one of those feel-good songs that hopefully warms your heart. All right, thank you again for coming this evening, and after us, hang tight for the band.
Good evening, everybody. Nice to see you, and again, congratulations to the choir students. They're absolutely fantastic as we got to sit and enjoy their voices in the hallway. So we move on to the band portion here with the 7th grade band, and excited to start off with a little bit of Disney and some Circle of Life. Thank you all so much. So this is, of course, my first year with the 7th grade band, and having a ton of fun with them. It's different for the kids because they had Mrs. Kaiser for 5th grade, they had Mr. Stone for 6th grade, then they have me for 7th grade. And when it comes to band, I mean, of course, a lot of the concepts are the same with every teacher, but like teaching styles and sometimes like rehearsal concepts, things like that are different with every teacher. And so they've kind of been bounced around through their middle school careers. And as you can tell, they sound good or what? So just so much progress this year. And as they go through middle school, you can hear that their sound and their articulations and their tuning, it's all becoming so much more refined. And so I really appreciate that hard work. And of course, as it gets up to the concert, we set a pretty high bar in the band room, don't we? And they've really been rising to that challenge the last 2-3 weeks or so. And I did have a conversation with them last week about basically band grades. So I explained this a little bit at the earlier concert. So when you are in beginning band, you usually play what's called grade .5 music, and you might do like an easier grade 1. And then when you're in 6th grade, you do grade 1, and you might do like an easier grade 1.5. And in 7th grade, you start off with 1.5, and in 7th grade, it's actually a pretty big jump. When you go from 1.5 to a 2, it's a tough jump for a middle school band. And I've been really impressed with this group, how they have managed to do that. And so our next piece is one of those grade 2s, and you're gonna hear why. Because when that happens, you have to be, you have to be very independent, because there are so many different things going on at the same time. You're not always coming in on beat 1 of the first measure, and you don't always, you really have to know what all the other parts are doing. And that's the big jump in 7th grade. Not just knowing your part, knowing everybody else's and how it fits in. And this next tune is a perfect example of how to do that. And I get upgraded on this one just a little bit. So this was a today's substitution. So I'm going to conduct / play a bass drum, because we really need the bass drum part for this one. So I'm going to wheel that up here, and we're going to play a nice piece of music that we call Afterburn. This is the weirdest conducting you've ever seen. hopefully that was a good example of how independent these kids are, that I could just, on concert day, just pull out a bass drum, and I'm just kind of giving these weird little points, and they're not even watching me half the time on that one, because again, they know how everybody else's parts go, and they just have it in their memory. And I think it's just a perfect example of how much they've grown as musicians this year. And I really hope, everybody on stage here, I hope you're really proud of the progress that you made, because it really does show. And sometimes, I think you all know this too, well, you're not quite, some of you are teenagers, some of you aren't quite there yet, but sometimes, you know, we're proud of the result, but putting in the work isn't always the most, like, enjoyable thing. And with band, band is always that combination of, yes, the music is fun, yes, the music is work. So it's kind of that balance and all this other stuff, and so we always try to strike that balance. So the next thing on our program, we are going to give out a few awards tonight. So last week, at the end of one of our classes, I had asked the students a few questions. So there's a couple of awards that these students got to vote on, and a couple of them that get one vote, this guy. So the very first one, I asked them basically what a leader was, because the first one is a leadership award. And they gave me all sorts of things because they said setting the musical example for everybody in the class. And they also had mentioned some behavioral traits too, because when you're a leader, it's not just about being a good musician, it's about leading the way for everybody else behaviorally. So I thought that was a good one too. So the student that they picked for the leadership award this year actually is somebody who could not be here tonight, but we have Peyton Peterson in our trumpet section, so I'm just going to set it on her chair. So I think that'll be a nice surprise for Peyton when she gets back. Next one, we have our outstanding band member. And when we talked about outstanding member, they really thought that this person was among the best musicians in the band. And chosen by their classmates, if Layla Wilson will come up. The next one I have here, these two are chosen by me. So I have a Rising Star Award, and Mrs. Witter and I both decided last year to create this award. And for a Rising Star, this is someone who I've seen has made among the most growth of anybody in the ensemble this year. And this person, I'm telling you, some of this music, when I pick it out, I have to look through the music, and we really count on this person for lines, because sometimes nobody else in the band has them. And that is a lot of faith and trust to put in one person. And this person always delivers on their musical lines, keeps us together, and some of this music would not work without him. Lucas Donovan, come on up. All right, and the last one is our Director's Award. So this person, not only do they do a lot of things in this band, and they may even participate on more than one instrument in the band, they are also active in music outside of school. They're taking music lessons, they're doing music camps, and just really living, eating, drinking, breathing music. And our Director's Award recipient for this year, I'm kind of looking at her. Now she's starting to smile, so we have Eliza Skoletsky, come on up. And Eliza also plays violin, so there's been a couple tunes this year, and actually a couple tonight, where I get to put her on a little bell part back there, because percussion, sometimes there are so many different parts. There's percussion 1, percussion 2, percussion 3, timpani, bells, and sometimes we need multiple people per part, and it's just nice to have somebody who has the musical expertise to kind of go back and forth. So, and to all of you, thank you so much for a great year. Look forward to next year. So for our final piece here, we're going to resurrect, because I didn't want to just do 2 pieces tonight, we're going to resurrect one, and there's others we've worked on in class, but yeah. So we're going to resurrect one from the Music in Our Schools concert, and we're going to leave you with a little bit of Jurassic Park. Thank you so much for supporting these great kids. I also want to point out that the trumpet solo is played by Ava Linsmeyer on Jurassic Park. All right, and for the 8th grade's opening piece, in 8th grade, some of these students in their lessons, they start working a little bit more on minor scales, and they start working on more minor music in band, and there's a lot of alternate fingerings, accidentals, things like that, and so really some challenging stuff. And so this one is called Dark Ride, and it's intended to evoke an experience that you might feel on like a moonlit night and like riding through a darkened forest. So that's how we are going to start tonight with Dark Ride. as you can tell, there are some fun trombone parts on that one. So a special shout out to both Tyler and Brody on those great glissandos. It is kind of one of the funnest things about playing trombone. So when they're told they can do it as loud as they want, it's always a good time. So good job. And on something like that, just really great parts for everybody. So if you've been musicians before and you have to use like your chromatic scale, there's chromatic lines everywhere in there, and they're kind of like, if you like in English class ever had to do like tongue twisters, it's almost like the instrument equivalent of a tongue twister is doing all these chromatic lines, and really, really good job with all the fingers. So I told them all they can do my heart surgery someday, because they got super good fingers and dexterity. For our next piece here, we're going to move on to, I'd mentioned that with 7th grade, there's that level 2 jump. And 8th grade, they make this level, we call it a level 2.5 jump. So we have our next piece called Jungle Dance. And as you heard in that first piece, when you're in 8th grade, you can hear there's a lot more, like as you go through the grades, you start connecting with the music more. So you start hearing like more emotion. So even at the beginning of that last one, you could just hear the mysteriousness in their sound, and they're actually able to evoke that through their instrument in ways they couldn't younger in their band careers. So on this one, I told them that it's called Jungle Dance, so they have to make it sound fun. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the audience after if you sounded fun, okay? No pressure, no pressure. No, they're doing a great job on this one, and it is a really fun tune. So this is Jungle Dance, and it is meant to kind of sound like, it's meant to sound like a party. So it introduces a melody, eventually introduces a second melody and a third melody, and by the time you get to the end of this piece, it's actually just gonna be this like almost like a mass chaos, because one person came to the party, 2 people came, 3, and by the end, the whole band's at the party, and it's like you have a hard time kind of picking out, like in conversations, there's several conversations going on, you have a hard time kind of picking out each voice. That's how it's supposed to sound at the end. So then we know that we did it right. So enjoy. Did it sound like a party? Quite challenging piece of music because a lot of those measures, there's so many syncopations. So if you're a musician, sometimes when a conductor, when they do this, you want to go ta, you want to play it, and you have to wait, ba. So there's so many syncopations in there that it can throw your brain for a loop. So nice job. So on with the 8th grade awards. The first 2 awards were voted on by the students here. So, and of course, last year, I know we talked about it a lot as a class, a little less this year because we did a lot of the talking last year. But their leadership award, who they voted, if Jensen Hollow would come up. And of course, one of those students that's always leading the way, not just musically, but really making sure he sets a high bar for the students around him. So, our outstanding band member here, comes from our trumpet section, so I'm going to ask Layla Krieger to come on up. And Layla is very modest, but of course she's one of those students that, and students know it too, she's one that you can always count on to always know her parts. So thank you, Layla, for all that you do. Our Rising Star Award for the 8th grade band. This is someone that, of course, who I think has made absolutely tremendous progress this year. And it's actually this student's 2nd year in the band. And I'm going to ask Callan to come up right away. Callan Fitzgerald's going to come on up. You heard him on Dark Ride, so this year he kind of made that leap where he's been doing some very intricate snare drum rhythms, so a lot of 16th notes and things like that. And the number of times I asked him to, I would just go back to his part and change this to this, and do this here, and do that there, and it's not even written in his part. And he would just write it in there, and he'd make it happen. So I just really appreciate all of his leadership. So thank you, Callan. And for our Director's Award, this student, of course, one of the hardest working students in the band, a lot of hard workers, but I think this student really, really works incredibly hard. And not just, when you're in your younger grades, it's always big on practice minutes, getting the instrument on your face. And this student just practices just because they want to be the best at everything they do in here. And I really appreciate that go-getting attitude. And this student has also done an honors band festival this year. And again, just a great teammate in their section and holding others to a high standard. So I'm going to ask Lily Schmidt to come on up. And for our final piece of music, I was going through the library looking at music and found this wonderful arrangement of God Bless the USA. And I started going through it, and I listen to recordings too, and I try to make sure it's a really good fit for the group. And I saw some handwriting in it, and it's like, wow, the handwriting really looks like mine. And I kept looking at it, kept going through it. And some of you may not know this, but I student taught here in 2006 with Sue Seco and Bonnie Wickman. And I checked my programs at home. Sure enough, I did this one as a student teacher. So my handwriting really hasn't changed too much in 19 years. So real excited to pull this one out again with a different group. So this is Lee Greenwood's God Bless the USA. Thank you again so much for coming out. Before I turn over the microphone to Mrs. Iselman, behind the concessions here, on the tables, you'll see a few buckets, and you'll see some slips of paper. We have a few what are called shout-outs. So I just want to make a quick request. Doesn't have to be a long one, but if you would write a note to a student or several students, the whole band if you want to, if you'd write a nice little note to these students because they put in a lot of hard work, dedication, and they do great things. I appreciate them, and I know you do too. And thank you for supporting their talents, and let's keep on doing that. So thank you all for a wonderful evening.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ice. What a great song to end with as we enter Memorial Day weekend in another week or so. Excellent job, 8th grade, 7th grade band and choirs. Let's give them all another round of applause. Just a few thank yous. Thank you to Mr. Ice, Mr. Stone, Mrs. Witter for preparing the students. Mr. Cooney, who's in the back doing our light and sound. And where's Jane? We always got to thank Jane when she's in the audience. Where's Jane? Up front here, Jane. Thanks for everything that you do for our school and school district. Greatly appreciated. I'm going to let you go because I hear a lot of rumble on outside. So please drive safely. Have a great rest of your evening.